96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Young cast, last, now everybody go to breakfast.
Talking Heads with Naughty is brought to you by BTC, Burger King, the Cancer Treatment Centers of America, Dunkin' Donuts, Fine Threads, First Caribbean Bank, Island Wholesale, John's Department Store, J.S. Johnson, Joker's Wild, KFC, Naughty Johnny's, Percy's Island Games, and Tropical Gyros.
Talking Heads, the Tuesday, January 17th edition is on and popping. Your boy, Naughty, and your company right up until 6 p.m. tonight. And we got lots to talk about on this Tuesday edition. And we're going to jump right in because, big up to all the sponsors again. And, of course, you know how to chime in. 323-6232, 3216-325-4259. Text lines powered by BTC, 422-GR96. That's 422-4796. All right? Stream us live. Take us wherever you want to go. GuardianTalkRadio.com. That's GuardianTalkRadio.com. Cable channel 969. BTC Flow channel 612. That's how you get it in. That's how you get it on. And we got lots to talk about today. All right? As you look at that, the headline is brought to you, of course, by Fine Threads. Was blazing up the pages of the Nassau Guardian News and Views in Madison's 1844. Two huge headlines that jump out to me today. Growing demands for social assistance. Minister, the need among Bahamians is significant. Quoted as saying, I didn't know the gravity of the issue, not like that with people hurting. But when you sit in the ministry and you see what people go through on a daily basis, oh my God. End quote. O.B. Wilson, of course, is the Minister of Social Services. All right? So you got to look at that. And then I read today, another shocking, headline, is that baby Bella's mom is now awaiting sentencing, remanded, and awaiting sentencing. So, of course, when these kind of headlines jump out, two ends of the spectrum here in the Bahamas that I always say are neglected, the young and the old. Everywhere in between, we mash it up and kill up each other and fight every day. And we forget to remember the two ends of the spectrum, the young and the old. So that's why I have friends, no stranger to the show, of course, from Rise Bahamas, my good friend Tennille Burrows. Ta-da. How are you, ta-da? Happy New Year and all that good stuff.
Happy New Year, Naughty.
And as well, we have Miss Denise Major as well.
Hey.
Good to see you all.
Good to see you as always.
And Happy New Year and all that good stuff. I wish we were talking about more pleasant things to start our first conversation in the new year.
Yep. Absolutely.
But, in trying to stay consistent and not let things go to the back page, we all were heartbroken last year with the whole scenario with Bella and the Amber Alert situation. We still haven't figured that out. If we got one, if we don't have one, if it's working, if it's twerking, what's going on? We don't know. Mm-hmm. And then to see stuff like this, we've always had conversations about the need of social assistance because there's hungry people every day in the country. There's programs that are needed. There are predators playing on our crime. There's murder. I mean, you look at it, of course, and at least the ministers finally recognized it. But what are we going to do about it?
Right.
And then to further tie into the whole Bella scenario, now to hear that news today that her mom is facing possible incarceration, it's staggering. And more so, she's pregnant and due to deliver in March. Where are we, my God?
Right. So apparently in the case, Bella's murderer was sentenced and he...
That was the male obviously involved, correct? Just for context.
Apparently he got a plea deal, which essentially means if you plead guilty, they would reduce the sentence. People like Candy Gibson and I are thinking that we need some sort of zero tolerance policy when it relates to crimes against children. And something that would fall under that umbrella would be not issuing plea deals to people who are convicted of crimes, or if you have physical or some sort of video evidence or whatever the case may be, not allowing criminals who violate children to get off on plea deals. I think we should also have stricter penalties where there are instances of crimes against children, and I think we need proof that there's a vigorous and effective restorative justice program in place. So while they're spending this extra time in the Department of Corrections, they could be rehabilitated, hopefully, because once they get out, we have learned in a recent case, this prison 6 different times.
Yeah, for the
And-
same charge.
For the same thing?
Different, yeah.
So we need drastic action.
And if that's not a predator, what else is? I mean, you go to jail, you spend time, you come out, and you repeat offend with the same offense.
a career predator and predator of children.
And that's why I feel, and a lot of people tend to have a good debate with me on this, but I think we need a registered sexual offenders registry.
We have one.
We
No,
have
no, but I
one
mean,
now,
we
but we don't
need.
have access to it.
Well, therefore, we need a Freedom of Information Act. But I'm saying, do it just based on my comedy travels in America.
Well,
You
we-
drive down the road in certain towns, and you start going, and you see the signs. You're shocked, but you're like, okay.
We definitely don't have that type of registry. And whatever the law around the sex offender registry is now, as far as I understand, it's housed at the Department of Corrections. And as far as I understand, there's one person who is employed to deal with the sex offender registry. There's no real department. There's no man or woman power there to handle those
Maybe it's
sorts of
all
things.
bad for business, if you know what I mean.
Not that it's no woman power. It's just that they're not empowering the other staff to do so. They're keeping it to that one person for whatever reason.
And my statement again, maybe it's bad for business because if you look at some of the portfolios and the hats these gentlemen wear when they're out of office,
Yeah.
it might not be conducive to business while in office to close these loopholes.
Well, unfortunately, regardless of who's in office and regardless of whether there's continuity or not, Bahamian people have to decide what issues are going to be important enough for us to stand up, speak out, make noise, and take some sort of actions to get change to happen. People think that the only time they can exercise their democratic right is once every 5 years at the polls for the general election. That is not the case. There are different ways that you can support movements and efforts or align yourselves with nonprofit organizations that are doing this work. You can volunteer, you can donate. You can share their content on social media. There's so many to the forefront and become a priority. Because
And remain
clearly-
relevant because when they hit back pages, that's when,
Clearly, like we see in the case of the Marcos Law, almost a decade later, we're still looking for the political will to ensure that these things happen and in a timely and efficient manner.
And why though? I mean, that brings my question. Why a decade? When I hear that's so sobering.
Please ask
to hear.
Denise, because I have no idea.
No, you understand. It's very sobering when you hear that.
We
It's
honestly
staggering.
don't understand. And then we look at the
But what bothers me,
billboard.
not to cut you off, and this whole, when it's convenient though, on a campaign trail or to make a stand, it's convenient to bring that up.
But who do you blame? You blame us for that.
I got to blame because we continue to make the same
exactly.
mistake, electing the same officials to continue to perpetrate the same,
And we allow
offenses.
them to do it to us. We allow them to make it a priority when they want it to be a priority. And we forget that it's our children who are being harmed in the process.
And if we as Bahamians and political leaders and the powers that be don't give a rat's ass about children, I don't know if I should have said that.
It's my show. We can get away with that. I'm sure they'll be all right.
How would we expect that these people have our best interests at heart as a people, as a nation, if we don't care about children, much less us, much less the guy on the side of the road who might be able to rap, might be able to sing, might be able to do this and the other, but can't get the grades that they need in the academic arena to go anywhere, has no opportunities. Like, we know that ages 18 to 25 are the major perpetrators of murder in this country. They're also the major victims of murder in this country. We have to target young men of that age bracket with opportunities. We need to ensure that they're not in prison for minor things like marijuana possession, get them out of there where we're overcrowded and have a high rate of recidivism where people reoffend, get them into productive programs. The rate of income inequality in this country and the economic situation we're in dictates that the haves and the have-nots have such a divide where we don't want to see a violent uprising in this country more than what we see here now. So in terms of tackling crime, we have to look from alternate angles because for the past 20 years, we've been talking the same talk with the same two governments and nothing substantial has been
And the
achieved.
results are progressively worse. It's not getting
Absolutely
better.
worse.
But see, I look at if you're really about community and about country, I agree with you. A lot of these offenders, if they had another option, they would take it.
And the data shows this because they did a survey back when it was COB, before the University of the Bahamas. I don't know which year, around 2010, I believe. They interviewed inmates at the then Her Majesty's prison, and they found that overwhelmingly the responses when interviewed, these inmates said that the nature of why they committed their offenses were economic. Now, if that doesn't speak volumes, I don't know what does. I don't believe that we just have a bunch of rotten apples around this place, causing havoc and creating crime and offending. I believe that we don't have enough opportunities or access or even equality.
See, I remember a conversation I had with a veteran offender in his young years. But once he turned around in his later years, been a mentor to a lot of young people and kept them, on the straight and narrow because of his story. And I commend him on that because he keeps it real, you know what I mean? And he gives back where he came from.
Let's look at Valentino Brown.
My boy.
Yeah.
Valentino Brown say he used to be in the gang and
Right.
gang banging hard.
Yeah.
Now he is one of the hardest advocates and activists for community development. And he leads by example in his community of Hay Street and the Grandstown area. We need to...
And they respect him.
And
They respect him on all levels.
He
They
needs to
respect
be advising.
properly.
He needs to be being paid, and this needs to be his full-time job. And he needs to be visible, advising the government how do we crack down on these issues. The people who are promoting this idea of decriminalization of marijuana, they need to be at the table. We need to have all the stakeholders in place. People who work in creative
That's the
industries.
problem. They like to pass too many laws and bills without really consulting the stakeholders that it really
People
affects in
wind
the
up
long
not
run.
working.
And back to the conversation I had with the veteran offender, he said, no, you never know what it's like when you sit there and you see your family hungry, your mother hungry, your girl hungry, your kids hungry, your sister's kids hungry. You got eight faces looking at you hungry. You can do something eventually to take care of them from the basic level of just sustaining their hunger. If you got to do what you got to do, family first, they can do what they got to do.
And when you look at it, we have people who have been convicted of crimes in this country for stealing $1. We've had people previously convicted of crimes in this country for stealing bread.
Can of corned beef, and they go to jail for longer than the murderer and the other offenders.
Forget the murderers
They're
and all of
in
them.
jail,
Forget
yeah.
the corrupt politicians, etc., who are abusing the system and white-collar criminals that we don't want to go after because somehow we think they are the deity and they can't be touched. When you look at that as a young person who might not be from a position of privilege in this country, you get mad, you get upset. And we saw it in 2014. People don't believe me when I said it. There was just a little paragraph about it in the newspaper back then. There was a militia that was being contemplated among 3 different gangs from one area in this country, on this island. And this pastor, Hyler, whatever his name was, posted it on Facebook and said he saw the ammunition with his own eyes and that he was encouraging them not to go inside of the House of Assembly and shoot it up. So I reported it to the police. I'm sure other people did. Saw a little paragraph after the whole situation that it was continuing to take radical action. So that's when I shifted from just focusing on child protection advocacy to also advocating for anti-corruption, for good governance, for the enforcement of the Public Disclosure Act. When people can get away with committing crimes in places of power where they are the ones tasked with legislating, then we see lawlessness on the lower levels as well.
Everywhere. Got some text coming in. Naughty great show as usual. We need stiffer penalties for crimes, period. Some people go to jail weighing $110 and come out 5 months and 3 days later weighing $250 easy. Getting fat off our dollar. There's another one. Naughty, another Bahamian youth between the ages of 18 and 25 was killed today. And that pushes the murder count for the year to 7 already. 7 already?
16 days in, and we are at
7
7 murders.
So that's averaging like 1 every 2 days almost. 1 every 2.5 days.
All young men dying out.
We're losing a complete generation between 18 and 30.
Yeah.
I call on the government now to hire Valentino Brown and whoever else he brings in to consult and deal with this issue face on. Because I don't want to see any person in this country, a young man, young women, children, suffering, starving, not having access to home, shelter, rights. We need change, and we need something to happen that's different. We don't want you just to give contracts to your friends because you win the election.
No, I mean, what my thing is, we keep having the same conversation every
I'm
5
so sick of
years.
talking.
Every 5 years. Every 5 years.
What we can do? That's what. And if they ain't gonna do it,
We have to, at some point, you know, be the voice or be the platform, because you cannot continue to watch a generation of young men go through what they go through.
But realistically, though,
And
we
I'm not
have
condoning
been
violence, and
talking-
I'm not condoning, you know, blatant, bloodthirsty acts. You know, that generation that, like you say, because lack of opportunity
let me tell you something.
and feeling disenfranchised has led them astray. Because a lot of them, after they hit that age of 25, if they make it there, they catch themselves a little bit because they realize the world is really a serious place, and it'll kick you square in the rear end. And
But now
other
they
parts of
already
you
have a
now,
record.
but and now they've got several more hurdles
Yeah.
to go through. And there again, I'm with you. We need sentencing reforms. We need judicial reforms when it comes to the penalties. Because again, you have a record because you decided to go out and hang with your friends and smoke one joint. You get caught with that, but now you got a record forever.
And speaking about the legal
Those
changes,
penalties don't, and then you consider
Yeah.
some of the other crimes that are tapped on the wrist that are more heinous and way more outlandish than that. There's something askew. We need to balance it out.
we've submitted to the Office of Attorney General and the Ministry of Social Service and National Security a proposal to amend the Child Protection Act related to stewards of children, those who are tasked with, protecting children, such as, or who deal with children, principals, teachers, pastors, clergy persons, etc. We want them to expand that list to include immediate family, immediate relatives. We want to include guardians, and we also wanted to include caregivers. So we see now that there's a suspicious death of a 3-month-old baby girl. We hope that there is no foul play involved with this,
Now,
but we're waiting.
I heard reports
autopsy.
circulating. Now, again, I'm waiting for the autopsy and I'm waiting for an official
Yes,
release.
absolutely.
But from what I'm hearing, dear God, that I heard that today, and listen, that has had me in a wait. Because if it is
3 months.
anything remotely close to what I'm hearing,
Yeah.
my God.
But we don't need another baby girl or another Marco Acho or baby Bella to get us on board with this movement or to make this the priority, the
What's
thing that
going
we
to keep
stand
us
for.
on board? We should have said hello.
People loud and boisterous when it comes to spewing hate and division. We want to be loud and boisterous when it comes to spewing unity and progress and empowerment and equity. That's what we need in the Bahamas. We need equity, not even equality at this point, because the have-nots are not equal to those who have. So we need to bridge this divide.
I can throw so much right now. That is why it screams that we need local government everywhere, including New Providence.
And people wonder, how is that going to make a difference? Naughty, when you run for local government and be elected as mayor, how is that going to make a difference to your community?
You got me undivided 24/7, 365. All my networks, all my sources, all my resources. I'm
you're
there.
on the ground.
And I'm on the ground because you put me there. If you entrusted me enough with your vote to give me that position and respect my capacity and who I am to represent you, then I got to go hard.
It removes the bureaucracy.
Because
it
then,
removes all the red tape.
now, if I have no desire for frontline politics, but I do want to serve community, I could roll my sleeves up and get involved
Yes.
and feel no kind of pressure politically from doing what I need to do to better the community. Because I'm not here in a political standpoint. I'm here as a local government official elected by the community to serve. And maybe if you had some local government officials serving and leading by example, maybe they'd rub off on some of these politicians that don't. And every 5 years just beat up their gums and think a little care package here and care package there and an empty promise. But get them 5 more years to just,
And then we look at the end game. Those people who run for local government and are successful, that would be a good gateway towards possibly
if they are interested in
Right.
frontline politics.
exactly.
Of course.
So you get your feet wet, you have your
And they have a
experience.
proven record.
Exactly.
And I wasn't taking anything away from anybody who wanted that, who would go in that capacity for political aspirations if that's what they wanted. It gives you the opportunity to be comfortable and still serve and on multiple levels.
And I'm going to tell you once again, the powers that be currently, any administration who has promised local government previously and failed to bring it to New Providence, they're not going to be on board with this because Ranwood Wells said when he received the advisory committee report on local government in New Providence in 2019, his sentiment was he thought it took away too much power from the member of parliament. I don't know what the Bahamian public has to say about that.
And we've had members of parliament not divulge pertinent information to the detriment of their constituents because they didn't want to lose their parliamentary privilege and perks.
Yes, and the marathon is what you're referring to.
Well, you know.
I just would say, heaven forbid that any other instance of a marathon gas leak happens in any other district of this nation. Bahamians are too laid back. It's a part of being Bahamian, I know, but it's time we change that when it comes to national issues and citizen action. We have to speak up and stand up.
All right, now we got to get to the first break. When we get to the first break, we'll pop into Freeport. As a matter of fact, Kermit, we got Freeport zoomed in. All right, we're going to pop in with Sarah Kirkby real quick to catch up what's going on in Grand Bahama, and then we'll take our break and we'll continue our conversation with, my good friends from Rise. But Sarah, how are you?
I'm good, and I also want to say hi to your good friends from Rise. They're good friends of mine. How are you, ladies?
Hey, Sarah.
Nice to talk to you. Happy New Year, sweetheart.
All right, Sarah, last week, I know you were traveling and whatnot, but a great supplement last week and again. And thanks for it being on Wednesday, too. I had a couple of people text in, no, that was really nice. They did it on Wednesday instead of Tuesday. I'm like, Sarah was traveling. She wanted to make sure y'all had something to read.
Yeah, no, we had to do it because of the holidays, so we got it moved, and it was very nice of Candia to let us have our segment still in there. We're hoping to get to 2 this year.
There you go.
Maybe, we'll have a Tuesday and
We'll
Friday.
have to push it. We'll have to push it. We'll work on it. But, we got a busy day today, and I appreciate you chiming in. So real quick, get us all up to snuff. What's going on in Grand Bahama? I see the big, say the word for me, man, because, I'm a comedian. I don't want to say that word wrong. And it's got
it's a German name, and I'm probably going to say it wrong. It's Steininger Project.
All right, I'm not touching that one. That got Urkel calling me all over. I ain't even going there. But anyway, developer says it's going to be around, the value is going to be around $85 million.
Yeah, it's really fantastic. These guys have come in. They were in Mallorca doing similar projects and wanted to always come to the Caribbean. They wanted the sun, and the sand. And they came just before COVID hit, and they've actually fallen really in love with the island. They are, and this is the same thing that Weller was saying that is so exciting about Grand Bahama, that people forget is our infrastructure is really there. Our road system, our power, our internet, everything's there to give us what we need to really get new businesses in, and we have the space. So they came and saw that. They bought this beautiful peninsula that is available. So they're going to do their first project there. It also comes with beach property. I love this part. You also get a plane. Part of the plane is part of that house that you purchase. So you can travel to the States or wherever you want to go within a 4-hour area. I'm living my best life, wishing I could eventually do that.
Wow. So that sounds like that's going to be awesome. That's 2 major projects on the way for Grand Bahama.
It is. It's great. It's big, and we're perfect for the second home market because we are so close. We're 30-minute flight, and when hopefully our airport gets sorted, it makes it even better. I mean, please don't get me wrong. Our airport runway is fine. You can land here. It's perfect. So I hate to always push that, but we do need to get the infrastructure around it. But I know they're working on it. So this is huge for us. The product that we're bringing in, or the product that we have in Grand Bahama. So this is really big news. It's fantastic.
And I see the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce. The chief calls on the PM to meet with the business community. I see our good friend Darren from Darren D's Car Rental right up in that. Big up to Darren and the crew.
Yeah, Darren's in there. And James Carey is now going into his second year as chamber president. He has been calling and asking for these meetings. Whenever we interview him, he says it again. So we thought we should do a story on it. He does say in this, it's not that he hasn't met with the minister of Grand Bahama or the DPM, but he would like a meeting with the prime minister. And they want to sit down and talk with the board about what's going on for Grand Bahama. And they want to get details and updates. And they really want to be involved in that. So they are asking him to do that. So it's a whole story about that as well. And then that leads us into the other 2 that we have this week, which is Barry Malcolm, who was a former executive at the Port Authority, gave a really impassioned speech about Freeport's economy, how the Port Authority, the Hawkesville Creek Agreement can really be utilized to help us. It's a really great story that talks about how it can be successful if it's run under the way it was set up. I think it's a great story. It was, and Barry makes some pretty bold statements, so it's really good. And then we did a lovely story on a young Bahamian lady, Tatiana Christie, who returned home a few years ago and has written a lovely story. Penny the Horse, of course, all ties into children's advocacy and teaching kids to empower themselves. So it's a great one. And the exciting news is that they also tore down a building the other day. And as you know, I have a little bee in my bonnet about Grand Bahama getting cleaned up. So I was very happy to see this was done. It's something we need to do to help those who live in Grand Bahama surroundings as well. When your island looks good, you feel good, you promote it well. And it's something the Port Authority is pushing. I really am very proud of them for getting this sorted. And I do hope they push a lot more to get more buildings taken down for the people that leave them. And you can't have an island, you can't have the people on the island to recover and feel good after hurricanes and to promote their island if it's not looking beautiful. And you know, we all need to pitch together to make that happen.
But keep it up, Sarah, man. The more you keep doing down there in Grand Bahama, you can get me and the wife to move back down there, man. Then I go back home and open up a Joker's Wild in Grand Bahama.
I have a beautiful $3 million place for you to stay at. It's going to be gorgeous. The furniture
Anyway.
should be absolutely modern and adorable.
You had that price, Mr. Producer? Time to get to the break. She talking them real 30-minute from Florida flight kind of prices, man. I ain't in that tax bracket yet, Sarah, but we working on it. Thank you so much as always, and we'll chat again next week. I really appreciate
Thanks
you.
for squeezing us. And I know you're doing a very important subject today, so I thank you for working on that. And also, hopefully, the ladies you're with will also continue to work so hard for women's advocacy. I appreciate everything they do.
There you go. All right, thanks so much, Sarah. We'll get to the break right now. We'll talk to you next week. Mr. Producer, get us to the
Thank
break.
you.
Flip side of the break, we'll pick up the conversation with my good friends from RISE. And today, you know, another thing, we were just talking about the prisons and, you know, rehabilitation and all that. And big other headline, police, cell phones, drugs, and shanks found during prison search. So obviously there's not a lot of rehabilitation going on because you still have that subculture going on that's getting them put in there from the outside, going on in the inside.
I see they had Wi-Fi. Hopefully they use it to do some courses or
The
something.
whole Wi-Fi box.
A Wi-Fi box. I ain't mad at the Wi-Fi. honestly.
No wonder I've been getting them TikTok videos at 3 in the morning. All right. That explains it.
I gotta fight this, I gotta try. I'm feeling outrage every day by all the children in so much pain. And if you didn't know, let me help you find out. A child needs your hand on us and we can't let him down. Listen to the words coming out of my mouth.
We won't rest until we see change and justice. We won't rest until we're...
When I got prostate cancer, my family didn't know if I was going to live. At Cancer Treatment Centers of America, within days, I got an appointment. They presented me with treatment options, and we set up a robotic prostatectomy. When my scans came back, there are no signs of cancer. They don't see you as a number, they see you as a part of the family. I'm going on with my life. It's a real gift.
Call us at Cancer Treatment Centers of America.
Attention all KFC lovers! Are you ready to get crazy on Tuesdays? Now you can get 5 juicy mouth-watering pieces of KFC chicken for only $10. It's crazy! 5 pieces of world-famous KFC chicken, handmade with a secret blend of 11 herbs and spices for only $10. Don't miss out! This crazy offer is only on Tuesdays and only at KFC. KFC Nassau. It's finger-licking good.
Here we go. J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents are the best. Reliable service, we've been on the scene, protecting since 1919. J.S. Johnson Insurance has the test. You'll always cover me. J.S. Johnson Insurance, peace of mind.
Is your 2023 goal to move into your own home? Well, future home owner, enjoy another payday. Build or buy a home with financing from CIBC First Caribbean, and you'll receive cash back every month for 1 year investments. So secure one soon. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/homeowners payday for more info. Offer valid from January 9 through to March 31, 2023. Terms and conditions apply.
Play with Island Games, we making dreams come true. Play with Island Games, we paying more out to you. Don't mind the noise in the market, you getting cash in your pocket. 'Cause Island Games is spicy, and spicy is tradition. So when you play Island Games, we putting Bahamians first, guaranteed to pay. Island Games, we like them other jokers, we've been here from from the start, from the bike to computer. Island Games, we can make your dreams come true. We playing with Island Games.
When you look at them, do they look different? You can't see every scar, they're so innocent. Every day they've been betrayed, cause nobody would listen. Every day they've been betrayed, with no one to protect them.
I can't watch this from the sidelines. I gotta fight this, I gotta try. I'm feeling outrage every day by all the children in so much pain. And if you didn't know, let me help you find out. A child needs your help and they need it right now. They're counting on us and we can't let them down. Listen to the words coming out of my mouth.
We won't rest until we see change and justice. We won't rest until we're sure this is the end of it. When everything is said and done, no one will be alone. We won't rest till every child is safe at home. I won't rest till every child is safe and sound. What do you do when home ain't safe anymore? When it's so hard to trust anyone.
Talking Heads, Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. We continue the Tuesday, January 17th edition of Talking Heads. And if we got to spill over into the 5 o'clock a little bit, we will today, because like I said, it is a good topic. And I want to thank, my good friend, Tennille Burroughs, a.k.a. Tada. I would always call you Tada, I don't care how, activist you get.
Sophisticated she gets.
Dude,
that's Tada.
If your AKA is the only thing I know you by, then
yeah, that's that. Yeah,
your last name is.
Yeah, you ain't never tried Dr. Lemon. It's all good. It's not a problem.
Mr. Was he what?
That's MJ looked at me a long time. He said, "You see this last name? You know I must love you, right? I can take this on, and you know I love you, right?"
Not even hyphenated.
There you go, whole thing, and of course Miss Denise Major as well from Rise. And like I said, we got a caller right now. Let's go to the phone lines real quick. Talking Heads, Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Who's this?
Nolly, how you doing, man? Chef Coleman, man.
Hey, big up to Chef Coleman, man. Big sponsor of the show. And of course, not in the 5 o'clock hour. And, they created Tropical Gyros. And you win Pearly. I'm going to go easy today on you all. Your Dolphins are gone, but my Cowboys live on, brother.
Yeah, your Cowboys live on. Congratulations, man. You guys played a good game. I knew I was going to beat the Bucks, man.
I know, but I had that in a while, so allow me to enjoy that. You know what I mean?
Enjoy it, man. Have fun.
But listen, you're chiming in, so I know you've been listening. So what you got on your mind?
Well, I was commenting on what I heard with regards to, what was in the papers about them, finding all that stuff, all the shanks and contraband, and the criminal subculture that exists, and the difficulty that we have, the difficulty that one is faced with, and it's very difficult for those young men to find avenues of reformation in a very unreformable environment. Okay, so first and foremost, they need to go full force if this is truly what they want to do through a rehabilitative process, right? And because there is no guide for them. I mean, think about it. They go to prison. They do their time. They come out. They're still ostracized because nobody wants to give them a job. Everyone isolates them from society. So even if they came up with a mindset, I want to change, because they don't have the opportunity to change. They don't have the opportunity to engage in the economic dreams, and pursuit of a rightful economy. What are they going to do? They're going to resort to criminal behavior because that's what they know. So we need to truly get off the fence with this. Because, I work in institutions and they have a truly reformative program, okay? The recidivism rate is about 33%. Our recidivism rate in this country is about 85 to 90%. And why is that? Because they give the people inside prison an opportunity to still remain humane. And they give them an opportunity to recognize that everybody makes mistakes, and so therefore let's move forward. Now, yes, there are people that are hardened criminals that probably need to stay in prison and never come out. I totally agree. But the majority of people that go into prison for the first time, they end up becoming more convoluted and more corrupt because there's no other avenue of rehabilitation or reform in the environment. So there is no pro-social There's no pro-social environment and anti-social environment. So they resort to what they feel is best. And I think that if we truly want to see change in this country, that's where the change needs to come from. The change needs to come from the prison as a trickle way down. Trust me, because a lot of the stuff that you see happening on the streets is a result is a result of what's going on in prison. A lot of it's retaliation, and it's spilling over from the prison environment into the street. So if the government is truly concerned about ending crime, they will try to encourage the citizens to understand the process of what they're trying to do. Because, we are a very unforgiving society, even though we call ourselves a Christian nation. Okay? And so we don't want to give people the opportunity to grow from the mistakes that they may have made. The minister said it right. The sentence is your punishment. Your time in prison should be about reform. You can't use prison as another form of punishment. So now you're doubling the punishment. We're not saying that you should be sitting up eating caviar, but at the same time, they need to figure out ways and means to address the criminogenic factors, the reasons why they committed crime in the first place, raising the prison environment with programming and opportunities of trades and development to give these young men an opportunity to reintegrate in society successfully.
All I can say is please run for local government once the people bring it.
And he can cook too,
I know. I like tropical gyro.
Yeah,
I like them.
So, Chef, we appreciate you, and you got a fan over there in Rise, Bahamas. They like your food and they like you. So definitely be in touch, man, and continue to be a voice, Chef, because you've always offered great commentary, man. Whenever you decided to put stuff out there, and I'm not just saying that because you're my boy and you sponsor the show. You put out good stuff. You know what I mean? So continue to be a voice, man. Continue to be a voice and continue to keep us, well fed with those gyros. Here's one off the text lines. Naughty, I'm listening to the show, enjoying. As demonstrated by the nonprofits in this country, work on the ground 24/7, or 24/7. The young men and women are seeking easily accessible and free opportunities to better themselves and to learn a trade. If more classes were held in the evenings for these young adults, we would see less incidents of crime. Also proven are after-school activities for the teens into the evening hours help motivate and direct the youth into more positive outcomes. The data proves this.
We have ideas people in this country. We have talented people in this country, capable people who have experience and know-how and training. And we need the resources, we need the access, we need the development to happen and to stop talking about it and be about it. I mean, it sounds like a cliche, but the only way we could do our part is, through Rise Bahamas, which is a nonprofit group. We're focused on child protection, community empowerment, and good governance. We want to encourage people to get involved in whichever way that you can. Check out our site, risebahamas.net.
Boy, I was just going to tell you to do it.
Go do it.
Text to see, here it is. There you go.
Risebahamas.net is where you could find out more information. You could sign up to volunteer. You could learn more about what we do. You could donate whatever you want, or a cause that you believe in. Dave Williams comes to mind when we talk about restorative justice. He has his show on the other station. If you believe that children should be protected in this country, get on board with Rise Bahamas, the Bahamas Crisis Center, whatever the case may be. They deal with victims and survivors hand in hand first, face to face. We don't do that. We advocate more behind the scenes, try to create public awareness, and try to advocate for policy changes. That's what we really focus on. So find an organization that you believe in. If you want to join Rotary, Kiwanis, Toastmasters, all of these different agencies, I feel like if we just had an army of people from these community organizations come together and all of them run for local government, we'll see some sort of change. But we first have to advocate for it to be implemented here because it's not going to come from the powers that be.
And like you said, we need them to be about it because we talk a lot about what needs to be done, what can be done. We talk about after-school programs, youth programs, all these programs. But when you look at it, I'm on the ground, we're in the ground, on the communities. In the communities, it's the same people over and over again. We need you to come out and be a part of it. Don't just talk about it, be about it. Come out and be a part of it.
You got to be riled up. The Bahamians like excitement. So something really bad has to happen to rile people up enough to start really speaking out to the extent that they do.
Do you know what excites me?
What excites
keeping my children alive. Making sure that my children have opportunities. If that doesn't excite you, I don't know what will.
You're right.
I got another text for you. Naughty, what I'm gathering from your guests and callers is we have people in place in our Ministry of National Security and all ministries who are mentally stuck in the 60s. This system is antiquated. Your in-house guests should be consulted by those in government on all levels.
Well,
Great
thanks.
show.
But I mean, it's just so hard because I feel like our mentality, like you said, about keeping our children safe and not just surviving.
We like drama. We like movies.
We want our children to thrive. That should
Right.
excite you enough. I ain't got no children. I got nephews. I got a goddaughter. Shout out to Robin Ferguson. I am excited about not just them thriving in this country, but your children who I don't know, and the child from Baintown and the child from Camp Road. I want them to succeed because I was thinking about it today. You know, I believe in equal rights for men and women, but I just thought about it, and when we were talking about prospectively having a change in policy where crimes against children are considered crimes against the state, essentially, and given higher penalties and no, what you call this thing again? What do you got? The guy who, Baby Bella's murder. Plea deals, no plea deals.
Plea deals.
When I look at that,
Plea bargains.
I thought, you know, a lot of times they say, well, men and women should be able to protect themselves and all this. Children are at a disadvantage. We need not equality for children, we need equity for them because they need to be on the level where they are aware of their rights, and we have to have people fighting for their rights because they cannot do it for themselves. They're the most innocent and impressionable jewels that we have. And if we want to see the Bahamas become anything in the future, we have to ensure their safety and protection, and we have to train them and teach them and give them opportunities and divert them from this life of crime. When we talk about these young men, I know firsthand that something like building a creative industry in this country could make a big difference. Doing door-to-door walkabouts in Elizabeth Estates, when I was running as an independent around 2017 election, I met a young man who was like, hey, what you saying to that? What's up? Yeah, man, I could vote for you, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, who are you? And he's like, well, I'm notorious. I was in jail, and you might have seen me in the papers for this, that, and that. I said, well, you straighten up and flying right now, or what? He's like, yeah, but you know what? I want to get into what you into. I want to be a singer. I want to be a rapper. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I was like, my God, I have nothing to offer him by way of an opportunity to change his life. And I know that these people have talents and skills and ability, and it hurts my heart to see them getting killed for God knows why.
I've seen, you know, I used to do a lot of morning remotes when I did morning radio. Duncan, great sponsor. I still do the remotes 2 times, 3 times a month. You know, you get out there and in the afternoon. But I used to do morning radio, and I would see a lot of kids come through the school system, whether, you know, all over, pop in if a Duncan was close. And then I'd see some, you know, go off. I'd see some go into college, and I'd see some going down that road where you could see, oh boy. And then to hear, you see the group come in -1, and you say, well, where's so-and-so? You get killed, and da-da-da-da.
I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
I'm sick
And then
of it.
it's just like, wow. And then you realize, 17, 18, done?
These are children. By law, a child in this
Babies.
country is anyone under the age of 18. So that 17-year-old, 16-year-old, 15-year-old, they are still children by law. They still should have the access to the rights and protections that we have not been affording them so far.
But that's a mental shift that we have to focus on because culturally, we don't believe our children have rights. We don't recognize children as human beings. We don't recognize that they have a voice.
And the spectrum, they're young and old.
It's cultural shift that has to take place.
What are the sayings? You should be seen and not heard.
Children should be
Spare
seen
the
and not
rod,
heard,
spoil the child. Or who do you think you
We
are?
break our children as parents. We are the first people to break our children before the system breaks them. We break them down first. And that's where the education campaign needs to come in to say that, hey, yes, our children have rights. Yes, they are entitled to such and such. And we need to build them up at home first.
Well, let's get to the news right now. And right after the news, we'll wrap things up on the flip side because I really appreciate you all being here today. And I get some, more information out about RISE on the flip side of the break, how folks can contribute and join and support the cause, all right? And I really appreciate you all chiming in today. Like I say, the flip side of the news, wrap things up with RISE, and then we'll get into the sports in the 5 o'clock hour.
Flavor alert! The Dunkin' Maple Sugar Bacon Breakfast Sandwich is the perfect blend of maple and smoked bacon in every bite. Enjoy a fluffy egg, melted Swiss cheese, and sweet caramelized maple sugar smoked bacon, all stacked on a warm, flaky croissant. Make it a combo with lightly seasoned hash browns and your favorite freshly brewed Dunkin' coffee. Tap into maple flavor today at Dunkin'. The Bahamas runs on Dunkin'.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas. Fine style with elegant taste, then fine threads is your place. If you want those slacks hemmed or just taking the waist, then fine threads is your place. If you wanna look suave and debonair everywhere you go, like you're supposed to be in a video, wanna step out and look great, then fine threads is your place. Refined style with elegant taste, then fine threads is your place, is your place, is your place.
Fidelity, we're good for you. Whether your business is in-store, on the go, or both, let Fidelity work with you to maximize your customers' payment options with a fixed or mobile terminal so that you never miss a sale. It's safer than cash and more convenient so that you can take your business anywhere. For details, contact a business development officer today at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport, or visit our website at fidelitygroup.com.
Attention all KFC lovers! Are you ready to get crazy on Tuesdays? Now you can get 5 juicy mouth-watering pieces of KFC chicken for only $10. It's crazy! 5 pieces of world-famous KFC chicken, handmade with a secret blend of 11 herbs and spices for only $10. Don't miss out! This crazy offer is only on Tuesdays and only at KFC. KFC's finger-licking good.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
When you look at them, do they look different? You can't see every scar, they're so innocent. Every day they've been betrayed, cause nobody would listen. Every day they've been betrayed, with no one to protect them.
I can't watch this from the sidelines. I gotta fight.
We're back at you on the Tuesday, January 17th edition of Talking Heads, wrapping things up with Rise Bahamas. And of course, today, Denise, thank you again for stopping by. We got to do this once a month, like the 15th, the 16th, that middle week of the month. I need you all to come in every month. Let's keep the conversation going.
No problem. And back to current affairs right quick. We don't believe that migrant children and their mothers should be harassed by anyone for any reason, anywhere in this country. We don't care. They are human beings. They are children too. They have rights and should be safe and not being made vulnerable towards threats or harm.
Well, you know, when it comes to that, I think that all the protocols of the international treaties that we've signed when it comes to human rights need to be honored in all ways, shapes, and forms. And far too many times we violate them, and then it comes back to bite us in the butt.
Yeah, Denise, would you say it again?
We
Say it
have to
again.
first know what we signed on to and what it means. That's
Right.
the first thing first. Before we can honor them, we have to know
Right.
what we signed on to.
Some of us do.
We need a
But we need some more awareness. We need tutorially.
We need a Department of Public Awareness in the government of the Bahamas. I don't know which ministry it could fall under, but we need that. Well, I guess BIS does it to an
Yeah, and then
extent.
say, the thing, the mission statement, so you all know what's really going on.
Right, I like that. We want to put out there the emergency and child abuse hotlines and get your typing finger ready. This one, I think, even has access to WhatsApp. If you can't call, you can message them. And for children who might be in an abusive situation and listening, get this number down. It's 422-2763. Again, the number is 242-422-2763. This is the emergency and child abuse hotline. If you suspect, if you even have an inkling that a child is being abused, please call that number, message that number, WhatsApp that number, and let them know. You could do it anonymously. That's the social services department there.
All right, I got another text for you. Sadly, many youth in this country are from fractured homes where they've been shut down, shut out, and not appreciated for what they may be capable of. They don't have a voice and don't even know how to communicate effectively to perform on a job. I think we need some, I get where the text is going with that, but I think we need some more, like you said, back to programs outside of what we have here, extra programs, maybe by NGOs, maybe by other nonprofits, maybe by people who are interested in giving back, but we need extra classes. We need.
It has to be a collective effort because
I don't know why we don't have night school here.
No, but programs do exist. But if I am working, I'm packing bags, I'm working to pay a bill, I don't have time to go to that program.
No, I got you.
So it has to be a collective effort and everyone has to be involved, because what happens to that child who may be interested in attending the program, but I'm from a single parent home and I gotta go work to pay bills. I got work to take care of myself.
I can get caught up with them daily work to pay bills, hustles and struggles and get
The
rich
cycle
quick
just
schemes, and
repeating
then
itself
boom.
over and over again.
Here we have another statistic, either incarcerated or deceased.
Yep.
And one last statistic to end with, we found that in a recent report from UNICEF, the Bahamas has the highest rate of murder of boy childs in the Caribbean. The highest rate of murder of children. And I was trying to figure out, how is that possible? We heard of Marco Archer back in the day. We heard of the four Freeport,
Right.
4 or 5 Freeport boys back in the day. But I think also in these instances where there are stray bullets that kill these children, these instances where the abuse that leads to their death, like in certain cases, so they add up, and now the numbers are such that the Bahamas leads the Caribbean region in a number of murders for a certain age of boys in the region. So that ain't something we could be proud of. That ain't something we could put on the tourism slogan.
Be proud of.
You know, we care so much about tourism. Let's backtrack a little bit and care about ourselves and our children and our future enough to speak up and stand up for
If
that.
there's none of us left, nobody can come to visit because there won't be any more of us. Bahamas will be gone. We're killing each other. You see, we're losing a whole generation of males.
Yeah, but the people who getting killed, most of them, we don't really care about because we feel like they're gangbangers or drug dealers or whatever the case. It don't touch us directly, except when we've seen some politicians who were subject, for some reason.
Do you know what happens when you lose generations
But we're
of
losing those
genders,
types
like
of
males
murders,
and
yeah.
females? Did you know what it does to society and the population and so on and so forth as well, too?
What does it do?
Creates an imbalance.
We have an imbalance already.
Even more of an imbalance.
We have an economic imbalance.
You know, some people, like my oldest son would say, man, 8-to-1 girl to guy ratio. I don't have a problem with that, but but other people may.
That's what they're saying.
Wow.
You
And
see?
the thing is, we're talking about the set whether we're losing to murder and violence. What about the set who getting ready to leave and just ain't coming back?
The brain drain.
The brain drain. We
Brain
forgot about
drain
that.
is a big
so
deal.
what are we going to be left with?
Lot of mercy.
That's what we got to talk about on the next show.
Brain drain.
There you go. But I appreciate you guys. You got anything else you want to get out there before we
Before
get?
we close out, before we leave, I just want to remind everyone to keep an advocate for many, many, many decades in their prayers, Reverend Dr. C.B. Moss. He
Again,
is
yes.
still in hospital. The family is having a prayer and Thanksgiving service tonight, tomorrow, and Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday night at the church in Baintown.
Mount Olive.
Mount Olive Church, right in Baintown. So keep him in
Great
your
gentleman
thoughts and
there.
prayers.
Please,
And also-
thoughts and prayers go out to him and his family as well from
Definitely.
me and mine.
Also, shout out to the Coalition of Child Advocates, COCA, President Patrice Anna Kerry, Vice President
Man, I see one
Siobhan
big
Hollis.
billboard the other day with our girl from Coca who was on the show with us, man. I say, look at the billboard. Coca. I love that acronym, man. I have fun with that all day.
I'm in love with the COCA.
I was thinking more Coca-Cola because, I shamelessly drink that for breakfast. But anyway, when they need to get back on the show, let us know so we can continue, to support that
Absolutely.
cause.
Because, there's power in numbers. We have FOAM, Candy Gibson, who's a part of that coalition, Philippa
Always
Dean,
been doing a great
Human
job.
Rights
the Dignity,
Bahamas.
Human Rights Stephanie,
No more in Grand Bahama.
Cindy Gadet, Stephanie St. Fleur, Alexis DeMarco, so many people who have come together since
Big up to Stephanie and the
May.
Rice Bahamas crew, man.
To
Always
do
doing the
this
thing.
thing, yeah.
I saw her holding a sign today to doing big things.
Yep.
saying that we should not label any person as illegal.
Boom. Powerful message. Anyway, we got to get to the break. Thank you so much for stopping by. Next month, middle of the month, we'll make it happen again.
Yes, sir.
And if you all come on the right day, we might do it at Dunkin' so we can have coffee and donuts while we chop it up.
That's not like a
I
plan.
rebuke the devil.
That's not like a
But
plan.
yeah, that's okay. You can rebuke him all you want. While you rebuke him, I have a donut.
I have a donut. I have a nut. A donut nut.
Yeah, there you go. Mr. Producer, get us to the break. On the flip side of the break, we talking sports right here as the Tuesday, January 17th edition of Talking Heads continues right here. Want to thank Rise Bahamas for being here today. Great first hour. We'll pick it up right after the break.
Every day they've been betrayed with no one to protect them.
Watch this from the sidelines. I gotta fight this. I gotta try. I'm feeling outrage every day by all the children in so much pain. And if you didn't know, let me help you find out. A child needs your help and they need it right now. They're counting on us and we can't let them down. Listen to the words coming out of my
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Attention, all KFC lovers! Are you ready to get crazy on Tuesdays? Now you can get 5 juicy, mouth-watering pieces of KFC chicken for only $10. It's crazy! 5 pieces of world-famous KFC chicken, handmade with a secret blend of 11 herbs and spices for only $10. Don't miss out! This crazy offer is only on Tuesdays and only at KFC. KFC Nassau. It's finger-licking good.
John Shoes and Accessories is your one-stop shop for all your footwear needs. Whatever the occasion, John's is confident you will find what you're looking for among our always growing collection of amazing and trendy styles. We cover women, men, children, the whole family. Together with John's great prices and helpful and friendly customer service, your experience in shopping with us will be time well spent. Too busy to come in store? Shop with us online. www.johnshoes.com. John's also now carries small home appliances. So come on in today at John's, where we put fashion at your feet.
Is your 2023 goal to move into your own home? Well, future homeowner, enjoy another payday. Financing from CIBC First Caribbean, and you'll receive cash back every month for 1 year. A home is one of your greatest investments, so secure one soon. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/homeowners payday for more info. Offer valid from January 9 through to March 31, 2023. Terms and conditions apply.
Play with Island Games, we making dreams come true. Play with Island Games, we paying more out to you. Don't mind the noise in the market, you getting cash in your pocket. 'Cause Island Games is spicy, and spicy is tradition. So when you play Island Games, we putting Bahamians first, guaranteed to pay. Island Games, we like them other jokers. We've been here from the start, from the bike to computer. Island Games, we gonna make your dreams come true. We playing with Island Games.
Flavor alert! The Dunkin' Maple Sugar Bacon Breakfast Sandwich is the perfect blend of maple and smoked bacon in every bite. Enjoy a fluffy egg, melted Swiss cheese, and sweet caramelized maple sugar smoked bacon, all stacked on a warm, flaky croissant with lightly seasoned hash browns and your favorite freshly brewed Dunkin' coffee. Tap into maple flavor today at Dunkin'. The Bahamas runs on Dunkin'.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Young cast, last, now everybody go to breakfast.
Talking Heads, Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. The Tuesday, January 17th edition of Talking Heads continues right now. We're into the 5 o'clock hour. 5:20 p.m. is the time. Time to talk some sports. And we set it off like we always do each and every day with Today in Sports History, all brought to you, of course, by Naughty Johnny's. Well worth the trip out there to the Old Fort Shopping Plaza Monday through Friday. Great for lunch and dinner. Then on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, great for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Breakfast starting at 9 a.m. Don't forget happy hour every Wednesday and every Friday, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. out there at Naughty Johnny's. Give them a call, 377-7776. See what they got chefed up and going on for you today. Always well worth the trip out there to the Old Fort Shopping Plaza. All right, on this day in sports history, January 17th, on this day, 1916, the Professional Golfers Association was formed in New York City. 1963, Wilt Chamberlain of the San Francisco Warriors scored 67 points against the Los Angeles Lakers. 1972, Roger Staubach and Bob Greasy appeared on the cover of Time magazine. 1989, Al Arbor won his 600th game as a coach. 1995, the Los Angeles Rams announced that they would be moving to St. Louis. 1996, Steve Yzerman of the Detroit Red Wings, became the 22nd player in NHL history to score 500 goals. 1999, the Atlanta Falcons beat the Minnesota Vikings to advance to the Super Bowl for the first time in team history. 2002, the city of Los Angeles had Muhammad Ali Day. And the sports quote of the day, luck is the residue of design. Branch Rickey, former owner of the Brooklyn Dodger baseball team. There you have it. That's a wrap on Today in Sports History, all brought to you, of course, by Naughty Johnny's. Mr. Producer, we got Purdy zoomed in yet? We got Peter zoomed in yet? Peter, Raheem's in the building? Hey, well, let Radio Raheem get in there. Radio Raheem, what is good there, Peter?
I heard the Cowboys won a football game last night.
Boy, the Cowboys did win a football game last night. As a matter of fact, Mr. Producer, let's go to the locker room from Dallas, the Cowboy locker room in Tampa last night. Let's pull that little clip up there, Peter. We're going to get in the moment.
Yeah, I tell you, I mean, you got to just really feel great about the whole week and leading in there. I mean, the confidence you had in there, we did exactly what we had to do. And I love what Jake Kay said at the beginning. There ain't nothing else to say. Let's just keep doing it. Let's just keep doing it. All right, great job. We got a wonderful plane ride home, but when we touch down, we're on the 49ers. Okay? We're on the 49ers. So great job. So proud of you. Outstanding. All right, let's enjoy this. Enjoy this plane ride. Let's celebrate one another. Love one another. Outstanding.
Hey, let's go. Be great on 3. 1, 2, 3. Be great.
Well, sound like they were great last night, Peter. What's your opinion of last night's game? I'll let you, have it first. First at it. First crack. There you go.
As well as Dak and the rest of the offense, crazy bunch, and they did play well. The defense set up the offense the entire night. With good field position, key takeaways, and big plays at key moments. And for me, I'm not a Cowboy fan. Maybe this is what Cowboy fans are used to all year, but that's a little different from what I expected. I expect the offense to settle to, put up 30, 35 points and the defense to hold the other team to, less than 24. And that's not what happened. It's the defense, they played a little bit scared of Tom Brady the first drive, but once they got an interception, they realized, hey, we can beat this guy. He's 7-0 against us, but that doesn't matter. It's a new game. It's a playoff game with a better team. And they kept, at that point, I think that was a turning point for me. Had they taken, I don't know what Tom was throwing. I don't know where the ball was going. Had that been a touchdown, maybe a little bit different in the momentum swing, but one there was an interception there in the first quarter, big momentum swing, and Dallas took the momentum, never looked back, won the game. I looked at the mistakes Dallas made, not many mistakes at all. They played a clean game. Everyone was dialed in. I didn't see many coverage breakdowns. I didn't see blocking issues with the offensive line, many of them. Good game. And I must say, Dan Quinn needs to be a head coach somewhere because he had that group ready to play. They were well prepared, well coached, and they executed fantastic on the defense. I give the defense A+ for execution. The offense, I give it A-. Saw a few mistakes, but the defense, fantastic.
Well, I think, I agree with a lot of what you said, Peter. I mean, that is the right diagnosis. I mean, the defense did set the offense up, but the offense capitalized. The first 2 drives, he was 0 for 3. Then he went 11 for 11, ended up going 25 out of 30, 4 touchdowns, 2 to Schultz, 1 to Lamb, and I thought an absolute nugget to Michael Gallup on the tightrope. And then, of course,
the run.
And then the run and play got involved with the legs, and they put up 5 touchdowns. So I think they're going to need another complete team effort next week against San Francisco. But I don't think that they're fazed by the 49ers. I think they respect them, but they're not scared. And I think Dallas is about to go on a little roll because when I was telling you all last week, you didn't listen. I was like, listen, whenever they lose 1, they win 4. They lose 1, they win 2. They lose 1, they win 4. Well, it's now in that sequence to win 4. 1 down, 3 to go. And I think that if they just take it 1 game at a time, they'll be all right. Now, a lot of people have gotten on Mike McCarthy, me at the front of the line. So I'm not being a hypocrite here. I'm the first one to say, boy, McCarthy had me mad on many a day. But I think last night, you heard in that locker room, The team believes in McCarthy, Peter. McCarthy has been here before. This is eerily reminiscent when he took a 6-seeded Packer team that won the last 4 games of the season to finish 10-6 on a run as a wild card and won a Super Bowl. McCarthy's been here before.
Man, he just won a playoff game and all, but I would like to see Dan Quinn as the head coach.
No, I'm making my point. McCarthy has worked his way into keeping that Cowboy job. Last night, he keeps the Cowboy job. Forget Sean Payton. Forget Dan Quinn. Forget Kellen Moore. As of last night, Quinn and Moore are going to be out of there. Moore probably to Carolina. Quinn probably to another team. Maybe the Broncos, but I hear Sean Payton is in there right now, and they're not letting him leave the building.
I'm hearing that Carolina likes who they have right now, the interim coach, who played well, and they like him.
They may keep him, and that may all well be he did a great job.
I think he did well, but there's some head coaching vacancies out there.
I think Quinn will get one. I'm not running from it. We're potentially looking at the last season of Dan Quinn in Dallas.
I think.
But if it comes with a Super Bowl, then heck, we got to take it.
Yeah, and you want to see your coaches do well and move on, and you bring in the next new wonder boy, and he does well too. So we wish Dan Quinn the best, and we hope he's a successful coach somewhere else, and he hopes he wins, unless it's against Dallas or Chicago or Miami.
Now, Brady last night, do you think that's the last game Brady played? I want it to be Brady's last game because that means guess who sent him into retirement with an L in the playoffs? The Cowboys. But I have a funny feeling Brady's going to resurface next year in Las Vegas with the Raiders. What's your take on Brady right now, Peter?
Deion Sanders says either you leave the game or the game leaves you. And Brady needs to go. The game has left him. I was clear last night. He's no spring chicken? Well, yeah. Dak's not a young guy either. Dak's getting up there in age and all that. Dak's not on his rookie deal anymore. But Brady, it's just not there. I mean, it's just not there. The ball, the velocity of the ball is not there. He still throw a pretty ball, but you can't be throwing lollipops. Not in this NFL. It's faster guys. You got inside linebackers running 4.5s and 4.6s. You got cornerbacks running 4.4s. You got safeties running 4.5s. You got defensive ends running 4.7s and 4.8s. This ain't the NFL that Tom Brady came in to the league. It's a much faster game. And you factor the speed of the game increasing with his age decreasing ability because of age. Okay? It's bad. It's bad. I applaud Drew Brees. Drew Brees saw the writing on the wall and said, okay, I'm going to leave. Eli did the same thing. Favre, you got to force Favre into it. Montana left on his own, I think. Young was forced into it. But you want to see a great career like his. Hey, dude, leave. Just walk out. Leave. Gronk left, while he still could. Just leave. Maybe you reconcile with your ex-wife and you get your family back together. But leave. The question is, if he stays, what is he staying for?
To go to Las Vegas, to go with the Raiders and try to go out on a high note. But let's go to...
Why? Because he could have left on a high note before, and he stayed. So it's like, dude, do you have a home? Do you have someplace else to go?
Baker's Bay. That's what I hear.
Do you have... Take up fishing? Do you have anything else in life? If this is all you have is the NFL and football,
well, he's got a deal from Fox waiting on him for the broadcast booth. He's got a potential career in politics in the U.S. Come on now, Brady got things to do.
Brady could join the starring Dallas Cowboy ex-quarterbacks who is starring in broadcasting now in
exactly.
Aikman and Romo.
You mean one of them Super Bowl winning though? Get that right for Aikman.
3 times.
There you go. All right, let's hear from Tom Brady, the post-game in Tampa last night. Here's Tom Brady at the podium post-game after the Cowboys' 31-14 victory.
Not the way we wanted to end it, but we didn't deserve it. I give them a lot of credit. They played a good game, made a lot more plays than we did, and
Dallas do anything? Dallas do anything defensively that was at all surprising out there from a scheme standpoint?
They played pretty good. They played good defensively and put a lot of pressure on us, and we just couldn't make enough plays. So it was kind of typical of the way we played all year, just inefficient in the passing game and not very good in the run game. So, it's hard to beat good teams like that.
Tom, you haven't had a red zone interception in years. Just kind of what happened? Were you trying to throw it away there? Or?
I was. I was trying to throw it to Chris, and the other guys were blocking, and just trying to throw it out, and didn't obviously get enough on it. That certainly didn't help our cause.
Tommy, it didn't contribute to a win tonight, but just having Ryan Jensen out there tonight, snapping the ball to you, what can you say about his comeback, about his play tonight, and any type of lift that did for you guys early in the game?
Yeah, just super proud of him and all that he's gone through this year. It's a tough injury that he had and battled all the way back and really committed himself the last 6-8 weeks to prepare himself to play and did it. So it says a lot about who he is, and certainly a guy you can depend on and count on.
What is your process from here when you start to think about what you want to do next? Because obviously it's going to be huge speculation.
I'm going to go home and get a good night's sleep as good as I can tonight.
Or when you want to figure stuff out?
No, I'm not. This has been a lot of focus on, this game. So, yeah, it's just be one day at a time, truly.
Tom, for all the struggles this season, you guys have had at least the possibility of the playoffs and what could happen there. How hard is the finality of losing this season being over?
Yeah, always tough, but we didn't earn it, so they did. I think that there's a part of football where I feel like it's, sometimes you get lucky, but most of the time, the team that earns it, wins. And they played good all year. They played good tonight. They played well as a team. They were very coordinated. They played well offensively. They missed some kicks on special teams, but we just couldn't get enough done offensively to put any pressure on them.
Biggest takeaway from this year for you, just the importance of and the power of resilience. I know you've talked about that's been a lesson that you've tried to teach your kids a lot about.
Yeah. There's, I think, lessons for all of us in every year of our life. So, you always want every year to end great. Unfortunately, in sports, it doesn't work that way. There's going to be 32 teams in the league, and they're all very competitive, and only one of them is really going to feel good at the end of the year. So there's many teams that won tonight. There's going to be 7 of the 8 that don't feel great at the end of the year, and that's why it feels good to be when you're on top, when you win it all, and it's a great feeling.
Tom, do you feel like you had a bad season or a good season? How would you characterize it just for yourself?
We lost tonight. It's a team sport, so never considered any individual things like that. Obviously we came up short as a team, and that's really all that matters. That's all I've really cared about was team success and how well we did as a team and how well we performed under pressure. And tonight was obviously not one of our best nights.
You had a good shot downfield to Julio there, but you didn't take a lot of shots down the field, especially with them down a couple corners. Why weren't you able to maybe get more shots down the field?
They were playing pretty deep most of the night. We were trying to hold the cushion, and you don't hold it for that long. And we got into the drive. We had some shots, so made a couple plays, but obviously.
The field tonight, were your emotions any different than the end of another season, at the end of last season? How did that sort of compare to what the feeling usually would be?
Yeah, it just feels like the end of the season. So I just want to say thank you guys for everything this year. I really appreciate all your effort, and I know it's hard for you guys too. It's hard for us players to make it through, and you guys got a tough job, and I appreciate all that you guys do to cover us and everyone who watches and is a big fan of the sport. We're very grateful for everyone's support, and hopefully, I love this organization. It's a great place to be, and thank you everybody for welcoming me, all you regulars, and just very grateful for the respect, and I hope I gave the same thing back to you guys. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Well, Peter, I don't know. That sound like, does it sound like the Swan song, or does it sound like he's going to take a couple of weeks to figure out what he's going to do and possibly return? I mean, there's 3 suitors out there potentially waiting for him, one being the Raiders out there in Las Vegas, Miami potentially another landing spot. So who knows? What say you?
Doesn't Brady always got these perfect press conferences? He's trying so hard to say all the right things.
I love it when he got the who farted look on his face after a loss, like how the Cowboys put it on him last night. Yes, indeed. I'm a talking. I'm enjoy it.
He said, "Oh, I respect you guys." And I'm like, we wanted to vote for you for the Hall of Fame. You really got their vote. Let's look at it from the other point of view. McDaniels is betting his coaching career on a 46-year-old quarterback on his 3rd team in 5 years. Okay, Miami's betting on the same thing 46-year-old quarterback on his third team in 5 years. I mean, what does it say about those organizations?
Well, both of those teams offer something that Brady likes. Offensive line, a running game, and some potent wide receivers and tight end options. And he's got familiarity right, and he's got familiarity with Vegas. And listen, Josh Jacobs, you watch how things go, Peter. Post-game press conference, last game of the year, he was out of there. He was all upset. Now the rumors swirling about Brady coming to Vegas. Guess what? Josh Jacobs says, I want to resign with the Raiders.
If he thinks Brady's the guy, then yeah, but let's look at a couple of things. Brady can't stretch the ball. He can't push the ball down the field. He just can't. You have Devontae Adams. So what happens then? I mean, he couldn't push the ball down the field with Mike Evans and the rest of them. What do you do now? Because right now, Brady is like Chad Pennington in Miami. Line of scrimmage to about 20 yards down the field. That's it. That's it. You're not going to get 30, 40. You're not going to be launching 70-yard bombs like Mahomes, like Fields, like Lawrence, like Herbert. It's not going to happen. You just like Allen, you ain't got it. So that limits what your offense can do. So like you said, you need a good offensive line for those receivers to run around to get open. To give Brady time. Great. I agree. A great defense. Yes, because Brady at this age is not going to put up 50 points. It's not going to happen. So where the NFL is going now with a lot of offense and all that, is that where you want to go? Or you want to say, hey, you know what? I'll take Derek Carr.
And Derek Carr.
Yeah, or you know what? I'll roll with Jimmy G. Not great numbers, but the guy wins games.
I'm thinking Jimmy G might be a potential fit in New York with the Jets.
He can fit a lot of places because he's the guy comes out and he wins games. I mean, he'd be a great fit in Miami because it's the same offense they're running, right? So that could work. You got a couple of good quarterbacks in the draft. You got the kid from Florida you're not sure about. You can get him in the late first round. You got the kid from Kentucky who's pretty good, but you don't know how good he is. He played in 3 different offenses in 3 years. Is his ceiling that, or is it that if you got an offense for, 2 or 3 years, stretch, he could be, the next Dak Prescott or, the next Andrew Luck. You don't know because he's played in 3 offenses in 3 years. Then you got the 180-pound quarterback from Alabama who's insanely accurate. But you're scared because 180 pounds getting hit by 50 pounds heavier than he is he going to last the NFL season? History says no. Then you got the kid from Ohio State. So you're like, well, but he's only one of him from Ohio State. But at that level, he's got the size, he's got the numbers and all that. So as a team, you got to evaluate, or do you want to trade for a quarterback? Someone wants to get rid of somebody. You want a reclamation project like Zach Wilson. You want to take a chance on a Cooper Rush to be a bridge quarterback for you for a couple of years, But I'll say this, watching the Dallas Cowboy game last night, you got to get away from Tom Brady. I'm impressed with how well the roster is built 1 through 53 because the 1 through 53 roster in Dallas is superior to the 1 through 53 roster in Tampa.
Yeah.
You have to agree with this because it's a factual statement, right?
It is. It's factual.
And you've got the depth for the first time in a long time.
We should have won the game last night, Peter. We did what we were supposed to do. Now, the next test is going to San Francisco and beating the 49ers.
Who also have a lot of depth. They've been building that team for a long time.
We got the streak going in our favor. We broke this 30-year playoff road streak. Brady's streak got broken. He's now got a loss against the Cowboys. San Francisco's on an 11-game winning streak with a rookie quarterback. Could it strike midnight for Cinderella and they turn into a pumpkin next week against the Cowboys? Who last time they won a road playoff game was exactly where they're playing this week in San Francisco?
Because Prudy was the last guy taken for a reason. He's not Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields or, he just doesn't have that ability. He doesn't. But they hide it very well. They're ask him to do a lot. So with the Dallas defense, who is no joke, now Prudy has to do more than he's been doing before because Dallas is going to take away, the first thing they're going to do is take away what the 49er offense does best. So, okay, great. Take away the running game and take away your intermediate short passes. Great. Okay, Prudy, toss the ball over 30 yards for completions all game. See what you got. We're going to play one safety high all game.
We'll talk about most of these matchups coming up, Peter, during the week. All right, and today's only Tuesday, so we got some more info coming in.
Enjoy it. People are asking me, have you seen Naughty? We hear he has gone crazy in Nassau. He's living it up like they won a Super Bowl. And I said, you're probably drinking some rum, eating some Cuban sandwiches, playing dominoes down by the Potter's Key Dock. I don't know if that's true.
A little bit of everything. All of it combined, you got all the bases covered. But listen, speaking of Dan Quinn, this just broke an hour ago, according to ESPN. Indianapolis has put in a request to interview Cowboys defensive coordinator Dan Quinn. Obviously, story by Aaron Walsh. The Indianapolis Colts have requested an interview with Dallas Cowboy defensive coordinator Dan Quinn for the vacant head coaching position, according to ESPN's Todd Archer. And, of course, to this show, good friend of the show, and one of the official beat writers for the Dallas Cowboys. So if Archer's got it, it is official. Quinn has also drawn interest from the Denver Broncos, who will interview him on Friday. The Colts fired Frank Reich after a 3-5-1 start to the 2022 campaign and named Jeff Saturday interim coach. Saturday led Indianapolis to a 1-7 record to finish the season. It's unclear if Saturday is a candidate for the Colts vacancy. According to The Athletic, Zach Kiefer, he is not interviewed for the position, though he intends on making his pitch for why he should remain on the job. The Colts have already interviewed special teams coordinator Bubba Ventrone, Broncos defensive coordinator Ihiro Evero, Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy, Los Angeles Rams defensive coordinator Raheem Morris, Detroit Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson, and Lions defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn, and Philadelphia Eagles offensive coordinator Shane Steichen. I think they covered the Rooney Rule in there with minority candidates. They did everything they should. I think Dan Quinn, out of all those names, though, I think out of all those names, Dan Quinn is the favorite still.
All this hinges on one guy, the guy in L.A. He's with the Rams. Is he going to stay or is he going to retire?
McVay's talking about it now. If Brady doesn't take the Fox money and he goes back one more year, McVay, who says openly, I don't want to be part of a rebuild in Los Angeles, may call it quits. And that may open up a floodgate as well. So we'll see how it goes.
If he goes, then who takes the job in L.A.? Because I think that's the biggest domino we got. That falls. Then, because it's a great job. They got Sophie Stadium. They got a lot of money, a lot going on. What do you got? You got a quarterback. You got Aaron Donald. You got Cooper Kupp. You got no draft picks.
Now, remember, Cooper Kupp going to be coming off that severe knee injury. So,
maybe who is a good? Because they got
running back in Cam Akers. Now he figured things out because he finished the season strong, extremely strong.
Yeah. Do you want to put Eric Bieniemy in there and do a rebuild?
Eric Bieniemy with that offense and with healthy components, he could be nasty out there.
Typically, rebuilds want veteran coaches. So, Jason Garrett, he's still looking for work. You could, as a coach, he's a commentator. You could. Is he going to be a rebuild guy? Lovie Smith is a good rebuild guy. But I think that's the big domino. And then, of course, the other big domino is Tua going to play football in the NFL next year? That's a big question we still have. And I came to my mind when the Buck player got hurt last night. I said, Jesus, this is terrible. I thought Tua, and also with Brady's want you to leave before you get hurt. And like Tua, I know you want to get paid, but what are you thinking? What are you thinking about? So, like you said, it's only Tuesday. It's a big NFL offseason coming up, but it's good to see the 49ers and Cowboys gutting it out in the playoffs and facing each other, kind of the way it should be,
Yeah, I mean, all of that has to play out, Peter. I think that's going to make for a very interesting offseason because I think McVay still may be out of there. Even though he said he wants to stay, I think he may be out of there. And that may open up that ripple effect in the coaching carousel that we may see a minority candidate end up in Los Angeles with the Rams.
Oh, I just got a text, Naughty. Jerry Jones wants you to come and try it as a kicker. Are you available tomorrow afternoon at 3?
No, and I hear they offered Lawrence Tynes, a contract, former Giant kicker. He said, I wouldn't kick for them even if they paid me $10 million. Is he stupid or what?
Well,
but I mean, last night, Mayer, man, my God. Going on 5 straight missed extra points before he finally kicked one through. I think the Cowboys need to carry an extra kicker just to be safe.
Peyton was losing it. You saw the broadcast. Peyton was like, why are they still kicking this ball? It's like, why? Why are you still kicking it? He can't make it. Go for two.
Dak was even saying that too. He was impassioned.
Go for two. And I hope it doesn't come down to a kick. Because remember with Romo, it came down to a kick and it was bad. Hope in this case, it's, it doesn't come down to a kick, and it's instead of the holder's fault, it's the kicker's fault. It doesn't want to come down to a kick, because for people that work so hard and to bust your ass all game and it come down to somebody who just, whatever is going on with them, we don't know what emotionally is going on with them. You lose the game on a kick. That's tough. That's just tough, So
yeah, we don't want that part. Hopefully the Cowboys can play well enough that we don't really rely on a kicker to have the outcome of the game, fall on the leg and the foot of a kicker. You know what I mean?
I do. What is your feeling on the game with the 49ers? What was your feeling of?
Listen, I gotta really look at it. Let me sleep on it, and we'll talk about it tomorrow and Thursday and Friday going into the weekend. Just want to look at the components. I think if we do a good enough job putting some pressure on Purdy, we could get him to have that hit that rookie wall. Now, what we do against that defense remains to be seen, because they got great pressure up front. We can protect Dak long enough to attack that secondary, because they're weak against tight ends. So Schultz should be able to operate. T.Y. Hilton should be able to operate. And let's see what CeeDee Lamb and Gallup could do downfield. Those corners have never really been tested this year. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what they're good for. Let's see what they're good for.
Speaking of football, I haven't heard anything from Earl since the Dolphin lost.
Oh, no, Earl was today. Earl was MIA today because he had an engagement. He'll be back tomorrow. So we'll chop it up with Purdy tomorrow. Full 100.
I want to say I'm excited with how the Dolphins played. I think they got a bright future next year.
Yeah, we'll get into that. We mentioned that yesterday, and I couldn't grill him on it, no pun intended, because they actually played well. You know what I mean? I think if they had two, they win that game. But we got to get to the break. I appreciate you. We'll chat again tomorrow, because taking us home today, Rich Eisen with the final 10. And I think Rich got to eat some humble pie when it comes to my Cowboys. So we all going to enjoy listening to this. Great show today, man. I want to thank Tadar and the crew from Rise for the first hour and everybody chiming in. Peter for chiming in the second hour. Good stuff. And yeah, we'll do it again tomorrow on the Wednesday edition. All right, the January 18th edition of Talking Heads. All right, be good, Bahamas. Until tomorrow. And if you can't be good at it. We'll see you.
I see cancer. My family didn't know if I was going to live. At Cancer Treatment Centers of America, within days, I got an appointment. They presented me with treatment options and set up a robotic prostatectomy. When my scans came back, there are no signs of cancer. They don't see you as a number, they see you as family. I'm going on with my life. That's a real gift.
Call us at Cancer Treatment Centers of America.
Refined style with elegant taste. Divine threads is your place. If you want those slacks hemmed or just taking the waist, then Fine Threads is your place. If you wanna look suave and debonair everywhere you go, like you're supposed to be in a video, wanna step out and look great, then Fine Threads is your place. Refined style with elegant taste, then Fine Threads is your place, is your place, is your place.
Flavor alert! The Dunkin' Maple Sugar Bacon Breakfast Sandwich is the perfect blend of maple and smoked bacon in every bite. Enjoy a fluffy egg, melted Swiss cheese, and sweet caramelized maple sugar smoked bacon, all stacked on a warm, flaky croissant. Make it a combo with lightly seasoned hash browns and your favorite freshly brewed Dunkin' coffee. Tap into maple flavor today at Dunkin'. The Bahamas runs on Dunkin'.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
With so much going on in the world today, only accepting cash at your business can be risky. Let Fidelity offer you and your customers safety, convenience, and the flexibility of a fixed or mobile terminal. Take it with you, on the move and on the go, because business should never stop. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit us at any of our branches.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Guess what? I will start the show appropriately saying, I was wrong about your Dallas Cowboys, sir. They can flip a switch. They are that talented to be able to do that and look the way that they looked in Washington and look the way that they looked against Tennessee and looked what happened to them in Green Bay and all the ups and downs and playing down a competition and letting the competition skate. They went into Tampa last night and told Tom Brady, not today. And if there's a tomorrow for you, sir, congratulations. You'll let us know what you're thinking about it when you know. Because tonight's the night we know we are the Dallas Cowboys that won 12 games this year. We are the Dallas Cowboys that does have talent damn near every spot. We are the Dallas Cowboys that can hit the home run ball. We're the Dallas Cowboys with a quarterback who can run and throw. We're the Dallas Cowboys with a lion in the pass rushing position. We are the Dallas Cowboys with a sniper in the back end. We're the Dallas Cowboys with linebackers who can cover. We are the Dallas Cowboys who can do it all, except kick extra points. But other than that, we're the Dallas Cowboys. And yes, we know that Tom Brady came into this game last night with the exact number of career playoff wins as the Dallas Cowboys. 35. That is a fact. Wow. Somebody was going to emerge last night with a 36th all-time playoff win. It's either Tom Brady or the Cowboys organization as a whole. And it was the Dallas Cowboys, and not just the Dallas Cowboys, but decisively. Yes, it didn't look pretty to begin with, but the defense showed up when Dak and the offense began by a sputter. And then down the field, Dallas and Dak went. Dalton Schultz caught the first of his 2 touchdowns, and Brett Maher missed the first of his 4 extra point attempts to start the night. And each and every possession, it got worse for Tampa. It did. And then when Tom Brady threw his first red zone interception since his time with the Patriots, he had never done it with the Bucs. And it's a 6-0 game, and they're starting the second quarter. And at the very least, you think it's going to be a field goal game if the red zone problems that had been roosting in Tampa damn near the entire season, all year long, having trouble in the red zone. They're having trouble on 3rd and long, having trouble in the red zone, having trouble running the football, having trouble all over the lot. But the one thing that they didn't have in the red zone was an interception from their quarterback. And Brady flipped it up in the air. Looks like he was throwing it away.
Tried to, yeah.
And to come away with no points, and the Cowboys then to start putting touchdown after touchdown on the board.
It was impressive.
And the Buccaneer team that could not show up last night was the team that relied on Tom Brady to throw it and throw it and throw it because they couldn't run it worth a lick. Or the score mandated or dictated the abandonment of the run game. Put it all together. You combine those two and you find a losing formula for the Buccaneers, and that's what happened last night as Tom Brady threw the ball an insane number of times. The exact number, if I'm not mistaken, was 67?
66.
66.
Too shy of the
66.
playoff record.
There you go.
Too shy of the playoff record.
66. I gave him one more. Think about it. 66 pass attempts. But the Cowboys dictated it. They went in last night and they put it on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and it wasn't even close. I mean, when it was 12-0, you felt that was too much. to overcome.
Well, I didn't.
I understand that because your kicker kept missing and making it an 18-point game at halftime. But that was a wrap, man. And I know being a fan, and we saw what happened over the weekend, but the Cowboys did what the Chargers didn't do a single time, which is score a touchdown in the second half, is certainly right after your opponent scored a touchdown to give some hope. Some hope. 24-0. They scored a touchdown. They go for two. There was no pass interference called on that two-point conversion. We're seeing that a lot. And Mike Pereira is joining us at the top of hour number 2 to talk about the officiating we saw on Super Wild Card Weekend. And so he's joining us shortly on this program. But when it's 24-6, just when you think, could this happen? Julio Jones with his first grab in the playoffs for a score since he was a member of the Atlanta Falcons 5 years ago in the wild card round against the Rams in the LA Coliseum. Predates SoFi.
Great throw by Tom, too, on that.
Yes. And we'll talk about Tom's future later. But the Cowboys just marched right back down the field. Right Dak down the field. Yes, sir. And they put it away right in the freezer. Done. As a famous announcer here in this town once said, the Jell-O was jiggling. Over. And the Cowboys said, we are going to San Francisco, and we are going to try and exorcise the demons of our one and done last year. I would proffer to say the San Francisco 49er team they're going to see, dare I say, is better than the team they saw last year. But that's for another day, and another time.
like Thursday.
We'll ask Irvin. I want to ask Michael Irvin about his thoughts on the prospects of that divisional weekend finale. By the way, you want to talk about a dynamite day of playoff football? Bengals at Bills, dude. Cowboys at Niners, back-to-back.
Dude.
Woo.
Go to the schedule.
Oh, yes.
Go to the schedule, baby.
It is cleared. But the Cowboys coming into that game hot. They didn't back in. They didn't show up and hold on for dear life after taking the lead. They didn't let Brady off the mat. They actually picked him off. They actually put him on the turf. And the question that we will have is, did they put him out to pasture? That's another day as well. But what this Dallas Cowboy team did is shut people like me up and lift people like you up. What a W. Yes, indeed. We do not have the Stephen A version of that today.
Don't need it. Nope.
That was great. I mean, that's exactly what you wanted to see. Tony Pollard is so good. And Zeke, if they could just limit him to what they've limited him to, which is red zone and first down, needing first down runs and leaning on the defense. It's a great double barrel action.
And kudos to you, man, for last year. You were the first one who kind of, I'm sure outside the coaches, really put out there that Pollard should be getting more work. And you were 1,000%
He is a home run hitter. So is CeeDee Lamb. T.Y. can hit some home runs too.
Yeah, what a great addition.
And Dalton Schultz.
Jeez.
We never talk about him, but Dalton Schultz is...
Van Der Esch and Diggs and Micah Parsons.
Oh,
I mean, he...
Wrecked the game, man.
The first snap of the game, they didn't block him.
I don't know how that happened.
And they didn't block him.
Shouldn't that be the first thing? You get to the line, you're like, hey, where's 11?
Where's 11?
Where's 11? Got
Where's
him.
11?
Let's put two guys on him. I mean, come on.
He blew it up, didn't he?